I kind of wanted to combine my experience living and growing up in Tacoma with understanding aspects of food systems. So I wanted to look at community gardens in Tacoma.
Phoenix's project, he sent out a survey to all of the community garden coordinators in the city limits of Tacoma. They filled out that survey. If they were interested in being interviewed, then they could leave their email address.
So I had 3 in-person interviews to provide some more long response anecdotes that could help situate the data that I had received in the survey and give it more of a face or more of a story behind it. My primary focus was to understand how gardens share food. What are the relationships you have with places that accept food, like food banks or with local churches? Do you track how much food you donate? How important is sharing food to the mission of your garden?
Are people who are growing food in community gardens, are they mostly sharing it with their family, their neighbors, or are they participating in sort of this bigger institutional emergency food network?
Worldwide, we have plenty of food to feed everyone, but because of supply chain reasons, because of just a wide variety of inequalities, a lot of food goes to waste. One of the things that I'm really passionate about is figuring out ways to eliminate that food waste and get that food that's being wasted to people who need it.
Food justice, food access, food security is one of the biggest unsolved problems of our society. We are one of the richest nations, and we still have upwards of 17% of Americans who are food insecure. In terms of policy and thinking about solutions, this is a nut that we have been unable to crack.
A lot of community gardens have cropped up in the past 10 years. Harvest-Pierce County really saw like a big boom.
I would say maybe about 10 years ago, it was really around the financial crisis. I think a lot of people decided to take matters into their own hands in some ways and try to figure out how to produce more of their own food in small plots, especially in urban areas. And so community gardens kind of had a second renaissance. The first sort of era of really, really enthusiastic community gardening was during World War I and World War II, during the Victory Garden movement. And at that time, there was a huge amount of federal support for people to grow their own food in their backyards. And at that point, about 50% of fruits and vegetables that people in America were eating were coming from backyard gardens. So we know we can do it, right? We know we can grow enough food to feed ourselves with the land that we have available. But we can't just sort of assume that more gardens equals more food security, or that more gardens equals more fruits and vegetables in people's diet. This particular research question is trying to ask the question of where do we put our scarce funding that comes from the city, that comes from the federal government, that comes from the state? How do we spend that money to solve this problem in the most efficient way possible?
I was impressed by how committed the people I spoke to were. People are recognizing that we want more gardens in this area. We want to have that community feel. Community gardens really do care about sharing food in Tacoma. That's a very big part of their mission. My name is Phoenix Stoker-Graham. I use he, they pronouns. I am an international political economy major with a minor in sociology. It was cool to see that they really seemed committed to values of community and support and neighborly love.